everyone, today we are making an oil pastel Eiffel Tower. We're going to start with white and we're going to sketch out our tower first. So I want you to kind of think of the letter A. Instead of drawing it directly in the center, we're going to move a little bit off center. So I'm going to start my first line here, and it's just going to start here narrow and then gradually come out this way like that. Start off lightly. You could always make it darker. And I go right to the end of the page here. Okay. The next one, I'm going to start here. I'm going to come down like this. See that? And then it's also going to fall off the page like that. Okay. Now in the center, I'm going to make a little line like this in the middle. Hopefully you can see that. Then it's going to split like that. I'm going to make a little line here. Just going to keep going. I tend to draw fast, so I will wait a second and let you catch up to me as I make mine a little darker. I'm going to make another line here. Then I'm going to make another line like this. Now I want you to pretend that this cuts straight through here. So if you need to, you can just go down, lift, and then come out the other end like that. And we're going to be making an arch here. Like that. Okay, so if you need to, you can kind of readjust by drawing your lines a little thicker or thinner. We're going to be covering all this white, so don't worry if you made a line that you don't want to use. We'll color it later. But just try your best. Yours is going to look a little different than mine, and that's a good thing. You'll have your own take to this drawing. Okay, so I'm going to make this line a little bit darker and wider, this one a little bit darker and wider, because we're going to be layering colors on top of it. This one here. Same thing with this arch. Okay, so let's take our brown now and go over all of our white lines with brown. I'm not pushing too hard because, again, I told you I'm going to be doing multiple colors on this. So I'm just lightly going over the white with my brown. I love the way oil pastels look on dark paper. Awesome. And now I'm going to take a little yellow on top of that. We have those three colors blended here. I'm going to take my brown and I'm going to make some up and down lines like that, back through here. And the same thing on this one. Sometimes I turn my pastel so it's not just wearing down only on one side. I find that helpful. Okay, so in the middle here, I am going to make this whole thing, I'm just going to color it with the darker. And again, I'm just using it lightly. Put a little bit of black in there. Just side to side. And then one more layer of the brown just to keep it all blended. So that was brown, a little black, brown on top again. Right. Now I'm going to take my yellow and make diagonal lines. Okay. And then I'm going to do diagonal lines going in the other direction, this way. Right on top. See how it makes it look like a little checkerboard pattern? Okay, in this section, I'm going to lightly make it black. and then brown on top. And a little more black because I wanted this area to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to add some black just at the top here. See, just at the top, we'll do another layer of black and brown. There. And we'll do the same thing on this side, black. Brown. This side is going to be covered a lot with flowers, so I'm not even going to do another layer on it. And then pick up your yellow again, and we're going to make an X. And I want this to show more, so let's go ahead and do a white X first. And then we'll put yellow on top. So X. Another X, another X. Okay, then in the center of each X, we're going to put a line through it. Oopsie, that happens. Okay. Now we're going to go back over it with yellow. Okay. Then we're going to make yellow lines like this. In between those yellow lines, I'm going to color it in brown. Okay, and a little bit of black, like a shadow in there. Then let's lightly go over the yellow with the brown so it just isn't so bright. Like that. This whole side is going to be covered with flowers, so we don't have to do the X's over here. Okay. And now we're going to color in the middle. Put a little of this color on top of the yellow to darken it a little bit. Same thing over here. Putting a little brown on top of the yellow so it's not so bright. Okay. Now we're going to do those same X's except they're smaller now because we're getting further away from the ground. Like that. This side's going to be covered so we don't have to do them. Okay. And then I'm just going to barely, you can barely see them over here because it's getting further and further up. It's further away. Okay, so now I'm gonna use some light blue. I'm gonna rip most of the paper off mine. Actually, I'm just gonna take all the paper off. If you have a big piece, you can just rip off some of the paper so that you can hold it on its side. And on this side here, closest to the tower, I'm going to make it blue, the light blue. So I'm going right next to it, like this, and I'm going to stop at almost the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to stop here and shade it all in here like this. So I'm getting a lot of coverage because I'm turning it on its side. See, I'm kind of working in a diagonal, like the same direction that the tower is going in. Put a little bit of blue down here, but not all of it, just like right there. And then a little bit of blue up in this corner. Okay. Now instead of holding it to get that full coverage, now I'm going to use the tip of it, and I'm just going to add a few little blue patches here and there. Even on top of the blue. Okay, let's switch to the darker blue now. I'm going to turn it on its side again to get more coverage. I'm overlapping it on top of the light blue. I don't know, did I mention we were going to get messy today? It's fun. Now over here, I'm using just the smaller part of it, and I'm making some of those blue little specks. Some could be big, some could be little. Some blue in this corner. A few little blue dots on top of the light blue. And now with my surface end of it, I'm just going to lightly smudge it all with the dark blue. Okay, now I want to add some white in here. So on this part, the top part of the tower, I go back through and add some white right next to it, like that. So that's just some white on top of the blue. Add some white in the center here. Oil pastels definitely take patience, but they look so good when you're done. I'm gonna get this tiny little triangle in here. This bottom part, I'm going to overlap with some yellow and peach. Have some peach here. Sometimes it helps to change direction when you're coloring to get all the spaces filled in. Okay, and we'll put a little peach on top of the white in the little triangle too. Okay, now let's take our yellow and we'll just make some little blobs there. Okay, awesome. So we're going to put some yellow down here. And let's put some peach on top. Did a few little spots of it too. A few little spots of yellow. And then let's take some orange in there. I'm going to do some spots of orange. After I make my spots, I'm just going to lightly add some orange across the peach. And then to blend it all in, one more little layer of peach. And let's put a few little blue dots on this side now, because we have some of the blue over here. We can make that a little darker. Just adding some blue on this side. And let's bring a tiny bit of that orange up in here too. Just kind of in the middle there. There. Okay. Okay, here's a fun part. Take your black and we're gonna make some branches. So they just kind of peek in. So make a line like that. It could even be like a little bit like the letter Y or a V. And we're just gonna make some branches that cut into the picture. That one will be a Y. Not all of them have to be. Some of them can just be a line. This one I'm going to just color in a little bit of black here because it's going to be all shadowy. Okay. Maybe do one more there. All right, now it's time to use our red. So I'm going to rip a little bit. This is how you do that if you need to. And we're going to be making some red petals, different sizes, different shapes. Lots of them, lots and lots and lots. And don't worry if you can't see them too much now, because we will be putting another color on top. Lots and lots of colors here. Coming right up. Make some of them come across onto this side too. We could add more branches later if we need to. Okay. Now I'm going to take the peach and I'm going to go over these to make them stand out more. Like that. You can leave some of them dark. You don't have to change them all. And then some of them we can put some orange on top. Put a few orange by themselves. Put some yellow. And I want more red, so I'm gonna put some red on top of some of the orange ones I made to give it another shade. Lots and lots of color. Okay. So if you stuck some flowers way out there, you could take your black and find ways to connect them so they're not just off into the middle of nowhere. And then in between all of these, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the rest of the background with the dark blue. And on this side, I'm going to add more blue, but then I'm going to make it layer red so it'll start to look a little purplish. Do a little bit of red just on the edge, just like on the outer edges. I'm going to do this. So I did the dark blue, then the red, and then one more layer of dark blue. Putting a little bit more blue towards this corner. And then we want a little pop of white. So in some places, I'm just going to add a little bit of white. So we're keeping it darkest on the outside. It's lightest here and around here. I almost forgot all my petals down here that are peeking in. So the same thing we did over there, you're just going to put a bunch of petals down towards the bottom here. And then you put the peach on top so that they stand out more. I'm going to make a few peach with orange. But you can try other color combinations if you want to. That's a peach, orange, pink. Another layer of red. Put a yellow one in there. Stick a couple of blue dots in here too. And then, of course, you're going to need some of those little black That is our oil pastel. If you want, you can add any little highlights to it with the white, just like that. You know, make it your own. I like to do that sometimes, just a pop of white. Add any shadows you want to it by just adding a little black to it. But I hope you had fun today and you learned to be patient, practice your patience with oil pastels. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.